So this is chapter 16D on the position to term rule. In this chapter, we're going to learn basically one big idea, which is called position to term. So, what is the word position? Position means the location of the term in the sequence. Now, as we learned in the previous chapter, term is basically any number in the sequence. So like 11 or 13 or 9 or 7 or 5. These are all called terms. Now, a position is where it is in the sequence. So the 5, it's the first position. The 7 is the second position. The 9 is the third position. The 11 is the fourth position. And the 13th is the fifth position. So position means where it is in the sequence. And to find the position to term rule, what we have to do is simply this. First of all, we're going to label the position of each number that each term that we see in our sequence. So first is 5, second is 7, third is 9, 4 is 11, 5, the fifth position is 13. Now, that's the first thing we do. The second thing we do is we have to figure out what is happening term to term. So how do you go from 5 to 7, 7 to 9, 9 to 11, 11 to 13? What is the rule? It looks like it's going up by 2 every time. Okay, so first step, label the position. Second step, figure out what is the term to term. Now the third step is, now that we know that the term to term is to add 2 each time, what we have to do is now we have to turn it into the position to term rule. So we're trying to figure out, how do we turn 1 into 5, 2 into 7, 3 into 9, 4 into 11, and 5 into 13 using the same rule each time. So, for example, if I did 1 plus 4 to make 5, that works, but when I do 2 plus 4, it doesn't make 7. It doesn't work. So that can't work. So what you do? You have to take your term to term rule. What it says here, since it's going up by 2 every time, the first thing you do is take the position and multiply it by the 2. So now we have 1 times 2, it makes 2. But hold on, what do we need to do to get to 5? We have to add 3 more. Okay, let's see if it works with the second position. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7. Okay, so that's what you have to do each time. So the position to term rule for this sequence is to take your position, which is the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth, whatever number you want, multiply it by 2, then add 3. That is the position to term rule. So it's very different from term to term. So in contrast, the term to term rule for the sequence above is to start at 5, then add 2 each time. The position, because we're starting from the position to term rule, is to take the position, multiply it by 2, then add 3. So now you can see the difference from term to term and position to term. Term to term is what's going on between, and position to term is what's going on from position down to the term. So let's do the second one. Label your position. Okay, second, what is term to term? It's going up also by 2 each time. So that means my term to term is plus 2. So what that means is I have to take my position, multiply it by 2. So 1 times 2 makes 2. But how do I get to 1? I have to subtract by 1. So let's see if it works on the second one. 2 times 2 is 4, minus 1 to get 3. Okay, so my position to term rule is multiply the position by 2 and subtract 1. So if I want to know the 50th term, all I have to do is multiply 50 by 2 and then subtract 1. So the 50th number is going to be 99. Or if I want to know the 100th number, I have to just go 100 times 2, that's 200, minus 1, that's going to be 199. So the position to term rule is really powerful. It lets you figure out any number that you want. So now, what I want you to do is, for each of these sequences, find the position of term rule, and then find the 50th term for each sequence. Pause. Okay, so for A, since I know it's going up by 3s each time, I have to take my position, I have to multiply it by 3, and then I have to figure out 1 times 3 is 3. How do I get to 2? Oh, I have to subtract 1 each time. So if I know that that is my position of term rule, my 50th one will be 50 times 3, 150, take away 1 is 149. In B, I'm going up by 5s, so I know I have to take my position and multiply it by 5. Now, from 1 to 11, 1 times 5 makes 5, plus 6, it makes 11. So, to find my 50th term, 50 times 5 is 250, plus 6 is 256. For C, I'm going up by 4s, so I have to take my position and multiply it by 4. And then to get 1 to turn into 2, 1 times 4 is 4. Take away 2 makes 2. So my 50th number is 50 times 4, which is 200. Take away 2 is 198. And then on my last one, don't be fooled. Just because it's dropping, you actually multiply your position by -1 because it's dropping, right? It's subtracting 1 each time. So it doesn't mean you suddenly go to division. You actually multiply by -1. 1 times -1 makes -1 because positive times a negative makes a negative. And then you have to add 10. And so if you have that as your 50th number, your 50th term would be then 50 times -1 is -50 plus the 10. It's the same thing as saying 10 take away 50. Makes -40. And it makes sense because the numbers keep descending. And that is it.